of Knicks Pistons. I want to make sure it's working. Recap of Knicks Pistons here on the shot clock. Hold on one second. For some reason, we're not. Why is this not coming on here? Yeah, there we are. We're live. Knicks Pistons here on the shot clock. Now, quick game recap and a series recap and a quick preview of Knicks and Celtics. The Knicks close out the Pistons here in Game 6 at Little Caesars Arena, 106-103. This game was an epitome of every single game of this series if you watch the series. The Knicks have shot themselves in the foot over and over again in this series, and the Pistons refuse to go away over and over again in this series. The Pistons have played as hard and as tough as you could ask them to play. They just don't have enough shot making to close these games out. If they did, they might have won this series. They could have won any of these and all of these games.
Yep.
But when it comes down to it, you know, like, we got to get this off the screen for them because otherwise they're going to... When it comes down to it, if you can't make shots at the end of the game and you don't have someone that can get a bucket for you, you're not going to be able to win close games in the playoffs. Not when they're going to let you play.
Yep.
So, my standpoint, the Knicks in 6, it doesn't show me anything in terms of going forward to Boston. It doesn't tell me they're going to be competitive against Boston. And you know what? Let's start with the Pistons first, and then we'll go to the Knicks. We'll start with the Pistons first, and I'll throw it to you. The Pistons, to me, had a great series. Now, they didn't shoot the ball well. They didn't. Cade didn't play his best series, but it's his first playoff series, and he's got to get the cobwebs out. He's got to get the experience, because no matter how much basketball you play, no matter how talented you are, you can't manufacture playoff experience. Mm-hmm. It really is. It's just the truth.
Yep. People
talk about it. Some people say it doesn't mean anything. It means a lot. And you see it every year. You saw it with OKC last year. You see it with Houston this year, and you're seeing it with Detroit. If you don't have the playoff experience, you can't know what that playoffs is, because they call the game differently. The crowds are different. The pressure is different. And you have to be accustomed to that. And the Pistons, that's what got to them in this series, because they played as hard as they could play. Their defense was great. They gave the Knicks everything that they can handle, but ultimately, they just didn't have enough.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, in the playoffs, also, every single possession matters. Every possession, there's immense pressure to score. Every point matters, obviously. I think the Pistons showed a lot in this series. Jalen Duren, in particular, had a terrific series. I thought he was consistently the best player on the floor on both ends for the Pistons. Dennis Schroeder gave them a lot as a veteran presence off the bench. I thought Cade played well. He just didn't shoot well. He was a good playmaker. He facilitated the offense. He was able to finish at the hoop. He had that little mid-range going. His three-point shot just needs to come around. And honestly, a few threes by him in this series might have been the difference in the series for the Pistons. The Pistons needed to make 35% of their threes every game in this series in order to win. And they made like 25% of their threes. They do not have enough offensive firepower to overcome consistently shooting poorly from three. They overcame it in 2 of the games. I mean, last game, Game 5 against at the Garden, they shot 25% from three, and they won on the road. That shows a gritty team who played great defense. They almost stole this game, shooting 26% from three. They had no business being in this game, but they stayed around, they hung around, 10-point deficit, and they made that little run. The Pistons, I think they're on the come up. I think it's like the Pacers, maybe the Cavs a couple of years ago. They are a year or 2 away. They're another scorer away. But I think they have a bright future.
I do too. And just to show you, Cunningham played 44 minutes tonight. He went 9 of 22 and 0 of 8 from 3. That's not going to get it done. And, you know, my brother said he played well, he didn't shoot well. And even if that's accurate, his job, and I love Cade Cunningham. I think he's one of the bright young players in the league. I wish he was on my team. But his job is to score for this team. His main job, I should say, is to score for this team, is to create shots for himself and create shots for others. And he did not play up to his capability in this series, and that's a big reason why the Pistons were unable to win this series, because Cade Cunningham shot 40% from the floor and 20% from three in this series.
I know, it's not going to cut.
And that's not going to get it done. And like I said, I think Cade's a great player, and he's going to be a great player. But if you're the Pistons, you need more than that from Cade. You need him to put the cape on in this series.
Listen, he did a good job facilitating and getting his teammates good shots.
He did, but
he did a very good job of that.
He's got to score the basketball.
I agree.
And he was unable to do that. He was 9 of 22.
Listen, I think
Schroeder was only 3 of 9 tonight, which was, he had 9 assists, but only 3 of 9.
He also hurt his ankle early in the game.
He did. Hardaway was 3 of 11. He was a disaster tonight for the most part. Harris, I didn't even notice him on the court, weirdly. But he still had 14 points. He was a minus 23, though, somehow. He didn't really play that much in the fourth quarter. They went away from him, but he had 39 minutes, so he must have played some.
He just was
invisible.
They weren't giving him the ball. Like, he was dominating us in a lot of these games.
The question mark was, Asar Thompson, only 23 minutes in this game. He played very well in Game 5. He again was good tonight. 5 of 7 from the floor, 7 of 10 in the line, 3 steals, played tremendous defense on Jalen Brunson, who really couldn't even get a breath of air on him, with him on him. And they sat him, I thought, for too long.
They did. I don't really understand how in this game especially, when Tim Hardaway Jr. couldn't hit the broadside of a barn, how he had 33 minutes and Asar Thompson had 23 minutes. One of the head-scratching moments of this game, which could have cost him the game, and it might have cost him the game, was with 3 minutes left in the game, J.B. Bickerstaff subbed out Asar Thompson and put in Dennis Schroeder.
Yeah.
Schroeder should have been in that game. But Asar Thompson should have been in that game. He was suffocating Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson could not get a shot off in the fourth quarter. He had 3 points in the fourth quarter, the clutch player of the year at that point. And he subbed out Asar Thompson. And that allowed Brunson to get a little breathing room. On Schroeder, Schroeder's a very good defender, but he doesn't have the length.
He was able to get a couple shots
he got that layup underneath. I think he scored 4 points. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then you bring Asar Thompson back in. There was no reason for it. He only had 2 fouls at that point.
Got his rhythm going.
There was no reason for it. I think Bickerstaff really shot himself in the foot there. It made no sense.
I agree with you. Now, Brunson finished the game with 40 points? Was that his 40th point?
Why don't you look?
I know, but for some reason.
Scroll to the right. Look. Yeah.
He had 40 points, 15 of 33 shooting. He was hoisting up every shot tonight.
Yep.
7 assists, 40 points. Bridges had 25. Best game of Bridges in a long time.
Bridges, I thought, was tremendous on both sides of the ball and in transition.
Yes. OG, 22 points, usual good defense. Towns had a nightmare today, 10 points, 15 rebounds, but he was a +8. And Josh Hart, +13, 13 points, 10 rebounds, 4 assists. Another pretty good Josh Hart game tonight.
Yep.
And listen, the Knicks bench was an absolute disaster tonight. In every way, anyone who was on the court did not play well. The Knicks bench, they're going to have to get something out of this bench in the next series if they even want to have any chance, because they have been just completely non-existent in these playoffs so far. And, hey, listen, when you look at this overall series, I said this last night to you guys on here. If the Knicks were going to be a championship-level contender and compete with Boston the next round, they had to close out Game 5 like those teams do. They didn't do that. Now they come in Game 6. They play a great first half. Well, they play a great first quarter. They play a great third quarter and a good first few minutes of the fourth quarter, and then they do what they've done, what we've seen them do so many times. They completely unraveled again. And if that's a good team they played against, not a good team. If that's a better team they played against, Detroit's a good team. They're not a great team, though. If that's a great team they played against, like Boston, they're never winning that game. Boston takes a 7-point lead. That game is in the ground. So if you're the Knicks, you have got to find a way to not go through these stretches of a malaise where they just rely on Brunson one-on-one. No one touches the ball. They're throwing the ball like it's a hand grenade all over the place. They make dumb fouls, dumb turnovers. They've got to play smarter. And against the Celtics, if they don't get Karl Anthony Towns involved in the offense, he had 10 shots tonight. 10.
How many threes?
1 3. 10 shots. It's unacceptable. And I blame the coach, and I blame some on Towns as well.
And Brunson.
But Brunson has got to realize he is not beating the Celtics with this stat line. 33 shots is not going to beat Boston.
Listen, the Celtics would sign up for this game from the Knicks.
Yes.
This is what the Celtics want the Knicks to do.
Yes.
They want Brunson to take 33 shots. They want OG to take 14 shots. And they want Towns to take 10 shots.
That's exactly what they want.
That's exactly what the Celtics want the Knicks to do. And if the Knicks have any hope or prayer of being competitive in that series, Karl Anthony Towns needs to be the best player on the floor for the Knicks. And he's capable of doing that. We've seen him do it. He's an all-star starter. He's going to be second-team All-NBA this year. He's a terrific offensive player. For some reason, he goes through games where either Brunson's not getting involved, the coach isn't scheming plays for him, or he's just not being aggressive. And it's unacceptable with the amount of talent that he has. This is not like last year where Brunson has no other players on the court and he has to score himself. It was a heroic effort last year. He did a great job. This is not that. They went out and they traded for Karl Anthony Towns to take the pressure off of Jalen Brunson.
Bridges.
And Bridges, yes. And OG showed you what he could do offensively when Brunson was out at the end of the year. But Karl Anthony Towns is the key to this team. He has been all year. When he plays like he did in games 3 and 4 of this series, they are a great offensive team. When he plays like he did tonight, they might as well go home.
Or game 2.
They might as well just pack their bags and go back home. Go on vacation.
There's no reason to show up to Boston.
So,
in this series against Boston, let's just look ahead for a minute. Boston swept the Knicks 4 games this year. 3 of them, basically they looked like they were playing a G League team. Okay? They made the Knicks look like basically an AAU team. Okay? The last game was close, but the Celtics didn't play Brown in the second half. Porzingis was in out of the lineup. We know there wasn't anything riding on that game.
Porzingis didn't play in the overtime.
That was not a representation of what you're going to see in the playoffs. What do the Knicks need to do? Aside from Towns being a focal point of the offense and getting involved, we know that. What do the Knicks need to do to not just win this series, but make this a competitive series to where you actually think there's a chance?
The Knicks need to generate open threes. They cannot beat Boston with the amount of shooting that they have with their defense. They cannot beat them attacking the paint and taking pull-up twos. They need to hit threes. This has not been a good three-point shooting team all year. They were bottom third in the league in three-point attempts all year, which is crazy because they have a bunch of so-called shooters on this team. They need to generate open threes. That's the only hope because you cannot keep up with Boston's attack scoring twos. Obviously, Towns needs to be a focal point. You need Brunson to be Brunson, and he will be. I have no doubt in my mind. I've seen enough of Brunson in the playoffs so far to know that he shows up every single game of the playoffs. They need to generate open threes. They need not just Bridges and OG standing in the corner. They need Deuce to hit threes. Honestly, it's never going to happen. But they should get Shamet some minutes in these games. Shamet was playing very well, shooting well down the stretch. They need more shooting on this team.
They do.
They need Bridges to not shoot 20% from 3, 35% from 3. They need OG to shoot 40% from 3. They need these guys to hit their open shots. And they need to generate open threes. Towns needs to take 8 threes a game. He does. 8 threes a game.
Because the Celtics are going to be bombing away from out there.
Every single player the Celtics bring onto the floor shoots threes.
And they're going to be hoisting them.
They are. They're the best three-point shooting team in the league.
Maybe in a long time.
So,
I agree overall, but I'm going to take it a step further as well. I think what the Knicks need to do defensively is they need to take away Boston's 3. I would rather run them off the 3-point line and force them to make shots in the lane, and if they're going to win that way, go ahead. You cannot give them open look after open look after open look at a 3. They're too good that, like you said, every player on their team could shoot, and they're all good shooters. So if you leave them open, it's going down. So you need the Knicks. To me, I would press them up so hard. I would full court pressure them. I would run them off the 3-point line. I would force them to take the ball in the paint and score that way. And if they're going to beat them by twos, it's like death by paper cuts. I would not let them just run amok on the 3-point line and start to, bury a bunch of threes because the Knicks are not going to be able to keep up that way. They don't have that 3-point shooting.
I know.
And to your point, the Knicks need to take a lot of threes. I'm not sure they can make enough. With the guys that they have.
They need to take them.
They need to take them, but I'm not sure they can make them. What were they tonight from 3?
10 of 30.
10 of 30, and that's a good game.
That is a good game for them.
That's a good game for them.
But the thing is, Towns shot 1 3.
It's not enough.
1.
I've told you this before. It's hard for Towns with a wing player on him to get those shots off because he's in his jersey, and Porzingis shoots from up here. He can shoot over anyone. Towns shoots from here. So it's different. He needs space to shoot.
I know, but they don't, for whatever reason, the Knicks stopped running pick and pops with Jalen and Towns.
They can't do it because these teams just switch everything now. That's why they put a wing on Towns.
I know that.
They can't
but
run
you can
pick and
still
pop.
get some separation. Towns is a very quick release. You can get some separation if you run it correctly, where Towns has that millisecond to get a shot off.
Well, they're going to have to do it.
And he's very good shooting on the move and he's a very quick release. They have to find a way to allow Towns to shoot 6 to 8 threes a game.
Yes. And I'm going to tell you one other thing, too. Another key. You mentioned the three-point shooting attempts. You want three-point attempts.
That's what I said. They need to generate open threes.
You want three-point attempts.
Yes.
I want to stop the three-point attempts.
Yes.
And I'm going to say one more thing about the bench. Deuce McBride has got to play better than this.
Yep.
I'm going to call him out. Listen, Deuce, if you're ever going to watch this, and I love you, Deuce. You know that. You're my man. I love you. But you're better than this. You are better than this. And I know you can play better than this, and you've got to play better than this. Because if Deuce McBride is going to go out there and give you 17 minutes of action and go 1 of 4 from the field and 1 of 3 from 3 with 1 assist and a turnover and a -6, you're not going to do anything. The Knicks don't have a great bench. We know that. We know he's not going to play more than 8 guys probably. If he plays Shaman, it'll be a miracle, but he's most likely going to play these 3 guys. Payne and Robinson do not have the high upside that Deuce has. Deuce has got to be offense off the bench for them. Mm-hmm. He's got to hit open threes. He's got to be 3 of 5 from 3.
He's got to
He's got to generate some offense.
Deuce is what Deuce does so well is he brings a different ability. He brings quickness.
Yes,
he brings energy.
speed.
He brings speed. He's a spark plug off the bench. He runs in transition. He plays physical defense. He gives you a slightly smaller and quicker look at that 2-guard position.
And I haven't seen enough of that in this series.
I
And
agree.
even when he's been in there, he's been like subdued too much, and he hasn't been.
Well, he has no confidence in the shot right now.
Confidence.
So he's not being the aggressive Deuce. Deuce, when he's feeling good and he's feeling confident, every single time he touches the ball, it's going up Deuce.
Yes, and Deuce has got to play better. And listen, from a Celtics side, I don't think there's much to say about the Celtics. That's why we've kind of focused on the Knicks, because the Celtics, if they don't, basically break Tatum's leg, or have Brown basically have the flu, they're not going to lose this. They should win this series playing their normal brand of basketball, which is shooting a ton of threes, making a ton of threes, Tatum just abusing us like he's done all season long, White hitting huge shots, Holiday hitting huge shots, and them clamping us down on defense.
Yep.
The Celtics are going to do what they do. They're going to do what they do. I don't think there's much to say about them.
They also play 9 guys.
And
or
they
10,
have
or 10 guys.
And
honestly.
they also have a million range of outcomes for them to win this series.
I know.
The Knicks have like 1 or 2 range of outcomes to win this series.
Yeah. Well,
and they need everything to go right.
They have Tatum tearing his ACL or them hitting a
Well, we
million
don't want.
threes.
Let's not even talk about that. We don't want to.
I'm just saying
We don't
those
want
are
to
the
wish
2
that.
ranges
We don't
of
want to
outcome.
wish that.
I'm not wishing anything. I'm just saying those are the 2 ranges of outcome.
Yes, but you know what? The Knicks need to get everything to go right for them here. And I think in order, 3-point attempts, 3-point field goal defense. No, sorry. Towns, number 1. Towns, aggressiveness. I want Towns to get 20 shots a game, and I want him to take 6 threes a game minimum.
6 to 8.
6 to 8. 20 shots, 6 to 8 threes. That's number 1. 3-point attempts for the whole team, number 2. 3-point field goal defense, number 3. Deuce McBride, number 4. And number 5 is you need to get 2 of these games for Mikal Bridges in this series.
Yep.
2. One's not enough.
And OG.
OG I trust enough to have a good enough series. I think OG will be good. He'll give you this. He'll give you a little bit of that. He gives you good defense. OG's going to be fine. You need to get 2 of these games from Bridges. We're 25 points.
Yep.
Big tip in at the end. Hit some
Good
big
defense.
shots in the third quarter. Good defense. You need Bridges to give you 20 plus in 2 of these games. Towns has got to score 24 a game, 25 a game. And Brunson and OG got to do what they do. That's the only chance you have.
Brunson needs to also play more like first quarter Brunson tonight and less like second half Brunson tonight.
He gets 2 into the one-on-one when they're down.
I think he did a wonderful job in the first quarter of getting everyone involved. His shots were coming naturally and within the offense. They were open shots. He was feeling. He was shooting well.
Yep.
He was getting everyone involved. That's the Jalen Brunson you need. They fall into this trap in the fourth quarter or even the second half a lot where they just ball watch Brunson dribble.
Yep.
And if you're going to do that against Boston, you're absolutely screwed.
Yep.
So Brunson needs to be the facilitator that we know he can be in order for them. Honestly, the problem is, and why we're so pessimistic on the Knicks' chances in the series, is because They need to do so many things perfectly in order to have a chance to win the series.
And that's not only because the Knicks, that's not only a Knicks thing. Celtics are that good.
That's what I'm saying.
The Celtics are that good.
I know. The Celtics.
They're as good. I have them winning the title this year. I have them beating OKC in the final. They're that good. They're a tremendous team.
Listen, they are the champs until someone dethrones them.
And they have no weaknesses.
They have zero
None.
weaknesses.
Zero.
They're well coached. They play good defense. They're a great shooting team. They have depth.
They have size.
And
they have everything.
They have size, and they have go-to offensive scorers who can get you a bucket when you need it.
They are a perfect team.
They are.
And if the Knicks want to even be in this series, they're going to have to do a lot different because what you saw against the Pistons, what the Knicks winning this series, that ain't going to work against Boston.
This Knicks team gets swept off the floor. This Knicks team.
So they're going to have to step up. They're going to have to look at themselves in the mirror. They're going to have to look at, okay, what can we do better? How can we not go into these lulls where they can't do anything right on offense? Because you can't be encouraged by what you saw. They got to show you they belong in this series by how they do it on the court. This series you throw out the window now, completely out the window. It does nothing for you in the next series. They need to show you on the court that they are capable of playing in the same arena with the Boston Celtics. And I want to see that in game 1 on Monday night.
And honestly, the Knicks matched up very well with the Pistons, too.
They do.
The Pistons play a similar type of lineup that we do. They play one big who can't shoot, which is perfect for us. Then they play a bunch of wing players and guards. And OG and Cade is a perfect matchup for OG Anunoby.
And I'll tell you one thing
and
right
I want
now.
to see, by the way, I don't want to see any of this Mikal Bridges on Jason Tatum nonsense.
No.
OG needs to be on Jason Tatum for 90% of that series.
I agree.
If he has to be on the bench for a few minutes here and there, fine.
No, I think he's got to mirror Tatum. Whenever Tatum's out there, he's out there.
Unless
Same
he's
thing
in foul
with Cade.
trouble, whatever. Yes.
Same thing they did with Cade.
I agree. Mikal Bridges played very well defensively in this series. A very good defensive player. He does not have the physicality or the size to guard Jason Tatum.
And I'll tell you this too. And you're never going to see this, but I would like to see. I want to see what happens if the Knicks put hard on Porzingis. Seriously.
Good luck with that.
Run him off the 3-point line.
I agree with you.
Make them play differently. So they can't run the pick and pop with him. Because he kills us.
I know.
He kills the Knicks. I don't want to say us. He kills the Knicks.
He does.
So I would like to see that. And you put Towns on like Holiday or something. They're not going to do anything with those guys. They're not, once again, if Holiday's going to run amok and score 30 points, you tip your cap. That's a good problem to have.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Or you put him on Derek White.
Yeah, or I'd probably rather him on Holiday. I think White has a little more at this point of his career.
Yeah.
Offensive ability and shot making.
You forget how good of a player Holiday is.
No, I do, but he's just a different player now. He's more of a spot up guy. But I would put Towns on one of those guys and see if that could do something, and then put hard on Porzingis, OG on Tatum, Bridges on Brown.
Yep.
And that's that.
And Brunson
roll
on
the
White.
ball out. And Brunson on White. So that's it for tonight on the Shot Clock. We appreciate you as always. We'll be back tomorrow night for Warriors Rockets post-game recap right here. We'll either preview Warriors Timberwolves as well, or we'll talk about Game 7 Rockets Warriors. We'll be live on TikTok tomorrow for the second half of Warriors Rockets. And then we'll do a post-game here on YouTube right afterwards. We appreciate you on the chat. We will see you tomorrow night. The Shot Clock is out.